Shabbat Shalom. Call halal. Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, Bahashim Makakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. To the Akwat that are listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, the 144,000, the one-third, the hopeful elect of Israel, on the brother Yahshua. Shabbat Shalom. Something major happened the other day, and there's not a whole lot of noise about it, which, lets you know that something is not going according to their playbook or the narrative that they want out there. And what happened was Egypt and Israel are firing upon each other. And that's that is this thing spiraling out of that. That is the surrounding countries. And when I say surrounding Israel are about to stop putting up with the bullshit. Okay. So this is 2nd Ezra 6 and 31, I believe. 30. Is it 31? No. It's 24. 24. 2nd Ezra 6 and 24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So here we have friends fighting. I mean, because historically, Egypt is right next to Israel, or Canaan, whatever you want to call it, right? And those people generally get along. But not now that that the roaches have pulled up and infiltrated and destabilized the region. And so whatever fake, because Egypt was very instrumental in the what they call the 6-Day War, as far as fighting, until they got that ass whooped. And then they had to shut the hell up. But now, let the weak say, I am strong. Okay? They got Israel surrounded, and this is the beginning of the facade coming down, if you will. So this is Preston Stewart. I don't know who this is. One day ago, new details on Rafah strike, Egypt and Israel's exchange fire. Gaza Pier, which is a joke, remains operational. That whole thing about the food, if you want to know if this is a genocide or not, look at the food. Oh, they won't let food come in. What? Okay, well, that's pretty, pretty obvious at that point. Anyway, take it away.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Let's take a look at some updates around the ongoing war in Gaza. Now, quite a bit happened in the last couple of days here. It's a lot to get into, so I'm glad you're here. Now, we're going to start with the bombing in Rafah. And as a bit of a reminder, on May 26th, Israel carried out a strike in Gaza's southern city of Rafah that, according to them, targeted and eliminated 2 senior leaders of the Hamas West Bank headquarters. As a result of that strike, we saw videos and pictures of fires spreading throughout this displaced persons camp that, according to the Gaza Ministry of Health, resulted in the death of 45 Palestinians. Now, looking at a map to give you an idea of the area we're going to be talking about here, starting zoomed out with all of Israel, we're going to head here into the Gaza Strip in the southwest portion, and the southwest portion of the Gaza Strip where Rafah is located. Now, Rafah is getting a lot of attention right now. It's one of the main focus areas of Israeli operations in the Gaza Strip, and we've got 2 more details, I will say, about the strike that took place yesterday. Now, starting out, there was a video released showing some Palestinian residents recording the burning tent encampment, supposedly right in the aftermath of this strike. I mean, you can still see the fires at relatively close range. And in that video, the speaker claims that the IDF targeted a Hamas Jeep loaded with ammunition and weapons. And in this video, you actually see secondary explosions taking place in the middle of the fire, suggesting that there were weapons located in the area that these fires were burning. And then one of the speakers there talks about his fear that if they stay too close, they need to get out of there because Hamas rockets could detonate and start flying at them, suggesting, of course, that it was known that there were Hamas munitions and weapons storage locations in this general area, which is a problem because this is designed as a camp for displaced Palestinian civilians having been relocated from other portions of the Gaza Strip. Now, I want to be clear on that piece. That's kind of circulating the internet. I haven't seen anyone able to confirm the authenticity of that video. The video does look like there are secondary explosions taking place. There were also statements coming out talking about how fuel canisters inside of Hamas vehicles were caught on fire, which led to the rapid spread of this blaze across the tent encampment, which a couple thoughts there. First, it checks out in terms of making sense. A high explosive bomb to set off a major fire like this, it's going to need some sort of accelerant that just, there's no indications that Israel dropped incendiary munitions on Rafah, right? So you need something to be able to start a fire like this. Technically, under just the absolute perfect conditions, the awful perfect conditions, an HE bomb could start a big fire like this, but it's very, very likely that there was some sort of accelerant that helped to spread this blaze in the way that it did. Whether
Now you hear the the nefarious, fucking skullduggerous, if that's a word, type shit that they're over there doing. Unscrupulous, right? Well, I mean, what do you expect? That's what's supposed to happen, right? You're dealing with these devils. Anyway, let's see. I want to get to the part where they're firing on each other. UN Security Council to meet for emergency session. I want to see them firing. Hamas says it captured Israeli soldiers. Yeah. But it's good to see that map, though. Right? Look at the combat kit. Captured. Salaki, bear with me, because I didn't look at that. See, when you see this map, though, okay, and you understand
this is a high hardness
where Rafah is, right? Butted right up against Egypt, right here. Okay. If Rafah is here, and this is the line, this is Egypt right here. This is Egypt. And shoot. So you see what's going on.
this was a concern as soon as Israel began moving into Rafah and kind of right along the border with Egypt. And yesterday, it sounds like some of those fears came true. Fortunately, there's no indications as of now that this is going to be escalating anywhere beyond this initial engagement. So,
damn lie. Listen, overall, what's going on is all of these, let me go back right here. All of these Arabs, right? Arabs over here, they're all Arabs, right? Somebody's over here pushing everybody, pushing them into the sea, pushing them. You got to go to Egypt, pushing these. Hey, you got to go. That's what's going on over there. Okay, and now Egypt is saying we don't want these refugees. We're not gonna. You're gonna destabilize this region, and the devil is over here saying, look, if you don't let them in, we're going to lay them all down right here. That's what's going on. It's called a genocide. Okay? They don't get no food, no water. We're about to lay that ass down if you don't get them the fuck up out of here. All right? We don't give a fuck. That's what's going on. Okay? And so Egypt is saying, well, you know what? We don't have no choice. We're going to have to deal with this situation because it's not going anywhere. So they're at the point where now they have to deal with it. And what's happening? They're shooting at each other. over whatever is going on right here. Now, you think this isn't going to erupt into something larger? We know it is. How do we know? Well, we just said that friends are going to fight each other like enemies. And there are they enemies? Well, they've been playing nice for a while, but now the gloves are coming off. Okay? Now, show me the part about.
Fortunately, there's no indication.
I want to see the part about shooting at each other. Egyptian soldier killed in Israeli incident. Let's just let that play then.
As of now, that this is going to be escalating
Yes, it
anywhere beyond this initial engagement. So the information we have right now is that Israeli and Egyptian forces exchanged fire near Rafah on Monday.
Now, today is Wednesday. This should be all over everything because what are they doing? Shooting at each other. Was it an accident? What was it? How are they? And see, just because something didn't escalate instantly doesn't mean that. You see how everybody's taking their time before they move. Vlad is taking his time before he moves, right? The only one who ain't taking their time is that guy, Bibi. Bibi is rushing in, right? He's running in like a fool, right? And that's their method, their MO of doing things. They don't even think it out. They don't think of the latter end. And that's what's going to get them caught up, all right? Because this is significant, all right? It might take a minute, but you don't start a war. And the genocide, they can't, see the Egyptians, they can't, let's call them the Arabs. The Arabs in Egypt, they can't sit there and let the Arabs in Israel just be slaughtered. They can't do it, right? At some point, they're going to have to stand up, and all of them are going to stand together. And how do we know that? Okay, well, I guess that's it. Get 5 more words, and I'll show you them.
It sounds like Israeli forces fired back after an Egyptian soldier opened fire during an engagement. So there's, again, a couple different stories here. One is that Israel, the IDF, was pursuing Hamas militants in the Rafah area, and during the course of that engagement, whether stray rounds came by this border crossing or for whatever reason, the Egyptian border guard decided to open fire. He opened fire on the Israeli forces. The Israeli forces returned fire and killed him. Now, both Egypt and Israel have said that they've been in touch following this incident, and there's no indications that it's going to lead to anything further. It will spike concerns between the two and increase tensions, but again, no indications that this is leading to any sort of escalation. We also have some other information here, some sources inside of Egypt saying that the initial investigations found that the Egyptian soldier stationed on a watchtower had reacted to seeing an armored vehicle carrying Israeli troops cross a boundary line near the border where the soldiers pursued and killed several Palestinians, and the soldier opened fire on the Israeli soldiers, thinking that they were moving too close to Egypt, perhaps, or getting ready to cross the border. There was an exchange of gunfire between the two sides. They say, according to Egypt, that several Israeli soldiers were wounded as the force fell back, and then one Egyptian soldier was killed. A little bit mixed on that. From Israel's side, we're hearing that nobody was wounded. I believe those are the reports I've seen. But definitely one Egyptian soldier killed. We've already seen pictures of his funeral. But either way, again, the bright side here, if we can take that away, is it doesn't look like this incident has led to any immediate broader escalation.
I'm going to stop it right there because that combined with this incident, right? How do you spell Chechen? C-H-E-C-H-E-N. Chechen. Man. Shot. By U.S. SOLDIER near Fort Bragg, near Fort Liberty. Now, what is that? Okay. Oh, so an Egyptian got shot standing guard, huh? That's 2 years. You see how they won't even let this shit come up? Come on now. 5 days. Chechen national clipped near Fort Bragg. Drinking bros fake news. What? Oh, fake? No, this isn't fake news. What? Can't be fake news. This isn't fake news. Let's see.
Our beloved 8% hard A.
Bear with me. Look at this. Okay, this is.
We're now available in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North
All right,
Carolina.
this is a clown show.
So is it? Well, tomatoes are fruit, asshole. But let's back up. Are you anti-Hawaii?
Spies? Or do they sneak over the border?
Unit near Fort Bragg, right? And they were
Slovakia. So this is a clown show, but let's see what
It's near Fort Bragg.
let's see what they're saying.
It's near Fort Bragg. It's near.
entire job.
Well, look, we should do that with our audience next week or something, and just say, hey, pick a show name title, and then we'll do the show around it.
Well, you know what?
Let's pick a day that we don't have a guest.
You know what I do want to do is
Come on, clowns.
reaction shows. Maybe we'll do that like we added Monday fake news. Maybe we'll add another show during the week where it's just us reacting to videos and stuff that the audience sends in.
I like. It's near Fort Bragg. This is just going on right now, but there's no media that's reporting this. So, what do you know so far?
Well, it happened about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
On the 3rd of May. I won't say who. I think, although I do think the information might be available, but I'm not 100%.
See how they're hiding everything?
2 Chechen nationals made their way onto the property of a member of an elite special operations unit near Fort Bragg, right? And they were allegedly, the story was that they were there working for a power company or something as a contractor. They weren't wearing any uniforms. They had no ID on them at all. And they were snooping around, taking pictures and shit. Who knows if that part's real. But the operator in question went out to have a conversation with them, and things got physical, and one of them got smoked, right? Now, these people are...
The Chechen national?
Correct.
That smoked? Okay.
Yes, one of them. His name was Ramzan Daryev, lives in Chicago. He shot 6 times at close range. And then a second man was with him who got away, but then he was apprehended later on by the Moore County's Sheriff's Office.
That's all you need to know. Okay, so just those 2 incidents together. Okay, you got Chechens. Who are the Chechens? Chechens fight with the Russians. So if you can't put the pieces of the puzzle together, okay, and I mean, I'm looking at it from a broad scope. All right, and I'm going to end this right now. But keep your eyes on both of these situations. What the hell is this? All right? That's infiltration. This place is already infiltrated. All right? The Chechens fight with who? The Russians. The Venezuelans are allies of who? The Russians. The Venezuelans are everywhere. They're in Chicago. They're in New York. They're everywhere. They just came across the border, right? And they are allies of Russia. Got to put it together. All right, so I'm going to just get out the old-fashioned way right here. Revelation 11 and 14. What does this spell? The second woe is past. The third woe is coming soon. If you can't see World War III, this is a flashpoint, right? Deadly clash in Egypt.
A lot going on in the world, as you already are well aware of. Egyptian and Israeli forces have clashed on the border there.
So this is Stephen Banoun, Israeli News Live, 3 hours ago. Israel and Egypt deadly clash at Rafah. Of course, they're going to try to play it down like, oh, it's all good. Don't trip. Nothing's going to come. First of all, Israel, they don't forget. They want to get that lick back, don't they? So it's a good thing that only an Egyptian died, right?
Near Rafah. And it's been quite an extensive clash there from Israeli sources that I have. There is some sort of tunnel that the Egyptians have that they are trying to keep the Israelis from being able to get control of. And this is what the real clash is all about. According to this report right here, Egyptian forces clashed with Israeli forces, killing an Israeli conscript and wounding 7 others, 3 of whom were in serious condition. Then an Israeli tank fired a shell at a soldier, Khalil Asafura, who was located inside a watchtower, and killed him. The Israeli forces reiterated to take cover behind barriers and
Now, here's a different story. Sounds like the devil started it. Take it back. See a little more clarity.
Khalil Asafura, 7 others, 3 of whom were in. According to this report right here, Egyptian forces clashed with Israeli forces, killing an Israeli conscript and wounding 7 others, 3 of whom were in serious condition.
Slovakia. We get the whole story.
Israelis from being able to get control of. And this is what the real clash is all about. According to this report right here, Egyptian forces clashed with Israeli forces, killing an Israeli conscript and wounding 7 others, 3 of whom were in serious condition.
So, an Israeli got killed. Okay, so understanding who these people are and them getting their lick back. If an Israeli got killed. So what happened was they tried to do some funny shit and got checked. And while they were being checked, somebody died. And then they rose up and tried to come back. He is describing a tit for tat. Right? Now, this tit for tat, you think it's over? He's describing a tit for tat, and the tit for tat ain't over. Not as far as so-called Israelis.
Egyptian forces clashed with Israeli forces, killing an Israeli conscript and wounding 7 others, 3 of whom were in serious condition. Then an Israeli tank fired a shell at a soldier.
See, that was the get back. My turn, the tank fires at the soldier on the watchtower and killed him. See the tit for tat going back and forth? Now, if Israel wasn't down there running amok, they wouldn't have had that first skirmish. But Israel's down there doing what? Conducting a genocide and encroaching on the border of Egypt. Egypt is just, hey, stay on your side, stay in your lane, but you see what these devils are doing. They're running amok. And what's going to come of that? The surrounding countries are not going to have it.
Khalil Asafura, who was located inside a watchtower, and killed him. The Israeli forces reiterated to take cover behind barriers and communicated with Tel Aviv, which in turn communicated with Cairo. Now, it's still uncertain what this is. If this is going to continue to escalate, it's hard to say. We know.
Now, there's the truth. Oh, it's not going to go any further. Of course it is. They wrote that down and said, okay, we'll deal with it when we're ready.
That Egypt has moved quite a bit of armament themselves near the border of Israel there.
Why do you think that? It's called World War III. Egypt is not playing. None of these countries are playing, and we're about to see this thing just erupt.
So there is concerns that this could escalate. Of course, that happened long before this particular, situation took place there near Rafah, the Rafah crossing, which is on the border of Egypt and Gaza. Israel controls that border with Gaza, but nonetheless, it actually is an Egyptian Gaza border, not Israeli border. So I want to just bring that up.
So if that's a Gaza border, not an Israeli, what the hell are they doing over there? Shooting guns at people and shooting tanks?
Right there. Also, here, I wanted to speak a little bit about the situation with the president and foreign minister of Iran being killed in a helicopter crash there after leaving Afghanistan. This happened when I was very sick at the time, still recovering from that.
Okay, so that, we'll get back to that. But we'll end it right there. And let's see. Let's consult the scriptures and see if any white flags are coming out anytime soon. Okay. This is 1 Timothy 5:3. The NLT, when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman's labor pains begin, and there will be no escape. All right? That's what's going to happen in all situations, right? In the time that we're in. We're at the very end of this thing. It's not going to turn around. Oh, well, they waved a white flag. We got another 20 years of peace where there is no peace. So with that, we hope that the elect ratified you, brothers and sisters. Shabbat Shalom.